Hi everyone, I'm Carol Ann. I'm Vice President for the Oregon PT Association. And first I wanted to tell you about what we're doing today. I'm going to introduce you to one of our award recipients. Since we were unable in March at the conference to give the awards in person, we wanted to introduce you to some of our awardees via video. So in a minute I will introduce you to the first awardee, but let me first tell you about the award. The Mercedes Weiss Service Award was first given in 1976 to honor members who have significantly contributed in several areas to the profession of physical therapy at large. And this year, I'm really excited to announce that we are honoring Derek Fenwick with the Mercedes Weiss Service Award. Derek is the Senior Director of Human Resources at Infinity Rehab. He currently serves as a member of both the APTA Nominating Committee and the OPTA Nominating Committee. He's a past president of the Oregon Physical Therapy Association and has served on APTA's Post-Acute Care Payment Reform Work Group and Leadership Development Committee. Derek has a Master of Physical Therapy degree from St. Louis University and a Master of Business Administration and Healthcare Management from Regis. He became a board-certified specialist in geriatric physical therapy, and he recently earned the Senior Certified Professional status from the Society for Human Resource Management. So in a minute, I'll introduce you to Derek. Hi, Derek. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah. Hi, Carol Ann. Great to see you.
So first, I want to say congratulations for being our Mercedes Weiss awardee. I'm sorry we couldn't give you the award in person, but this is kind of a fun alternative for us to try.
Yeah, and I'm really, really honored. It took my breath away, I think, when I first heard it, and just feel really honored by the OPTA recognizing me for this.
Well, you certainly deserve it, and thank you so much for the example that you are of really humble leadership and just being willing to kind of get in and work hard. And you've had so many different areas where you've contributed, and that was one of the big reasons the committee really felt like you were a good awardee for this award. And so thank you so much for your past service and your ongoing service.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. Volunteerism is kind of a win-win scenario. I've always felt so. I get a lot out of it while being able to move the organization forward.
Well, thank you. So I thought it'd be fun to get to know you a little bit better. So I wrote up a few questions for you. You ready?
Sounds good. I'm ready. I think I'm ready. I don't know.
You never know. Okay, so how did you first get involved in the OPTA?
I think the first early memories, I did some, I went to school in St. Louis, Missouri, and I did a little bit with the Missouri PT Association. And so that kind of started it in terms of the APTA. For Oregon, I think my first gig was on the membership committee. I've always been real passionate about people being involved in their association and in the profession, and so membership really called at me. So that was probably the first earliest experience as I go in the wayback machine in my mind.
Neat.
Jeff Cox. I think Jeff Cox was the membership chair at that time.
Okay. I don't know that name.
Long time ago. That's what I'm saying. It's a big wide world, Carol Ann. It's a big network, right? So.
And a lot of really neat people, which is what I've had the pleasure of learning the past couple of years. Some really neat folks.
Yeah.
So now that you're serving at the national level, how is that different? Can you give us a little window into what that looks like?
Yeah, it is. It continues to be just an impressive experience. I think no matter what level that I've served at, I've found really spirited, passionate volunteers at every step. The biggest difference, honestly, is the staff support. It's a big difference being on a national committee. There's a little bit more staff than we have with Corey and her team. In terms of being able to move projects along, because we've got somebody doing project management or something, a paid staffer for APTA. But really it honestly, my national attention has really heightened my appreciation and awareness of the component level challenges. I mean, there's a certain, serving on the national APTA nominee committee and slating for national office, there's a certain, I think it's a misnomer. I don't think it's true, but there's a certain kind of myth out there that you know, national is the place to like peak your career or something. And I mean, for some people it's a great journey, but where most of the work is needed is at the component level, and where most of the work actually happens is at the component level. And so, you know, it's almost this false sense of security. You get there and you got, you know, there's people's eyes are on national positions if they're interested in that. But it just really reinforces how our components have to be strong and have good development opportunities at the component level before, you know, people are ready, whether that be in a board role or a delegate role or whatever. And, you know, I've always really enjoyed the culture in Oregon in terms of just taking our leadership development seriously, getting new faces into the mix, and trying to spread the work out among volunteers. It really creates a great culture for that leadership development here.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about Oregon, the OPTA?
About OPTA, I mean, the thing that first comes to mind is just the relationships. I mean, getting to know people who, you know, did similar training to go into a career that and doing work similar to me. Like, I've always found that really life-giving and just really exciting to just have some common connection. And so, and probably where some of my interest in membership came, I just think it's fun to know who around the state is doing work that's kind of in the same realm that I'm interested in, and treating patients and working in healthcare from a lens like mine. And so that's always been really, really fun. I've always found physical therapists and assistants and students of PT to be really, if I had to paint it with a broad brush, just really people friendly, like kind of people, just real relational, and we have to be, right, to get outcomes from our patients. We have to be able to connect with them. We have to be able to get the most out of them, maybe when they're not wanting to. And I've just enjoyed that about the majority of the PTs and PTAs, the students that I've been able to interact with in Oregon over the last 16 or 17 years as a PT out here. That's probably the biggest piece. And then, you know, on top of that, I'm really proud of our chapter. We have a reputation for being innovative and pushing efforts forward and trying to lead from a component level on a national stage. And just our delegation at the House in past years has really been championing big things. And you know, as a past chapter president, I would get approached by other chapter presidents that, you know, kind of just would speak to a reputation that the Oregon chapter has in terms of really having a great organization, and that's, you know, that makes me proud too. And I like to remind our local members of that whenever we can, because you know, it is what we make it, the culture in the OPTA chapter, and I think we're doing a great job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. So what do you enjoy doing in your free time?
Well, I got two little kiddos right now, not so little, 5 and 3. I just turned 3, so they're keeping me busy on dad duty. I'm in a little bit of a sad space right now. Big baseball fan, and having the baseball season shortened and possibly canceled altogether. This, you know, 7 months of my year, like living on the West Coast, baseball runs from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day for 7 months. And it's just part of who I was growing up as a Cardinal fan in St. Louis, and, you know, used to driving to work and home on that. And so that to be missing right now I'm finding that I miss that a lot. But just trying to, you know, be, as you might guess, I'm also involved in some of my neighborhood association stuff and a church community. I just kind of like giving my time to causes that I care about, and I think I got that from my mom and my grandmother. I saw them doing that a lot as a youth, and it just kind of got ingrained in me. And so it's just kind of, it's fun. Like OPTA involvement is fun for me. Like it can be a lot of work, but I get so much out of it, and have had my career and my own just kind of person advanced so much further than I feel like I've even given, just through the relationships that I've had at OPTA. So I do OPTA for fun. That's what I do, Caroline. OPTA work.
So I totally feel you with the tendency to give to a lot and be committed to a lot. So can you speak a little bit to people who are interested about getting involved, but maybe would be concerned about getting overcommitted, or how have you put in some boundaries for yourself?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a huge question, and it's one that I come across a lot with leaders that are kind of considering that, whether it's OPTA service or other volunteer experiences. And I think the two things that jump to mind. One is, especially in volunteer service, I mean, it really is about what you can give. And in a volunteer organization like OPTA, we are only limited by the capacity of the volunteers that we have. And so it really is a scenario where as best as someone can kind of think what they want to contribute, our organization, we try to find a home for that. We try to, whether that's a standard commitment, a short commitment, whatever. I think that's one thing that I think sometimes people that haven't been in the volunteering kind of mode yet maybe think that they're signing up for a huge commitment. And certainly we have huge commitments, like vice president and other big commitments that you can make, but it doesn't have to be that big. And most often, if you kind of find your passion area, start networking a little bit and find smaller ways to start getting involved, it doesn't feel like your life gets too out of whack, at least out of the gate. The other piece, I think, is kind of on the heels of what I was just saying, is finding having this kind of curious spirit, realizing that this is a really great learning ground. I now, in my day job, am the director of a human resources department, and I constantly have these kind of flashbacks in my mind when I'm facilitating company meetings of facilitating OPTA board meetings. Like it's a training ground for learning skills that apply in so many other areas of your life. And experiential learning is one of the most effective ways to practice leadership, to experience leadership, to grow and do that. And what better place to do that than in a volunteer association where, you don't have to know it all. In fact, most of us don't, right? We all have other primary callings for our careers and life roles, and this little aspect, this nugget that we give to OPTA. Yes, it's service, and yes, it's giving of yourself, but if you kind of frame it right in your mind, it's also a really effective way to kind of explore new spaces and put your own skill development to work. And that's one of the most underappreciated things that I think is talked about is just how much you can kind of just grow as a person through volunteer work.
Yeah, neat. Thank you. Well, thank you so much for all of your service and for taking the time to chat with me. And
thanks, Caroline, for talking with me too.
Yeah, thanks. And we'll keep watching to see what else you do. And thanks for bringing up the next group of people as well. I know you're always recruiting people and trying to train leaders, and that's a big contribution as well. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And if you're watching and you want to talk, you know where to find me.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Derek.
All right. Bye.